Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going ghost hunting. Well, sort of. We're tracking down the ghosts of a massive, sprawling maritime network that seems to have just vanished from the map. We're setting the stage for an absolutely incredible archaeological mystery involving one of the oldest, most fascinating civilizations in human history. We're talking about the Indus Valley Civilization. But we're not just looking at their well-known inland cities today. Nope, we're turning our focus to the water. It really forces us to rethink everything we know about how ancient empires fall, doesn't it? I mean, what if entire ancient cities, bustling harbors, and vibrant marketplaces simply lie beneath the sea? We almost always assume ancient empires disappeared because of invading armies, devastating wars, or political collapse. But what if, in this specific case, it wasn't a conquering army that claimed these places, but the ocean itself? Okay, let's dive into this timeline to really ground ourselves in the history. We're looking at a civilization that absolutely dominated vast regions of South Asia over 4,000 years ago. So their early rise begins around 2600 BCE, hitting a peak of just incredible maritime trade around 2250 BCE, before entering a gradual decline around 1900 BCE. For centuries, these people were thriving along ancient shorelines that honestly just don't exist in the same way today. 1 million square kilometers. That is the massive territory the Indus Civilization covered, making it literally one of the largest in the entire ancient world. And this unbelievable scale is exactly why the missing ports of their civilization is such a glaring archaeological gap. I mean, think about it. A civilization this enormous with this much economic output would absolutely require a vast network of coastal infrastructure. So, where is it all? To answer that, we really have to understand that this vast civilization wasn't just landlocked. The Arabian Sea wasn't a barrier to them at all. It was effectively a bustling, four-lane ancient superhighway. They strategically utilized their western coastline to build international connections. Sure, goods moved across rivers and deserts, but the sea was the ultimate connector, linking South Asia with distant regions like Oman, Bahrain, and Mesopotamia. The ocean was literally their bridge to the rest of the ancient world. Section 2, the shifting ancient coastlines, or the geological culprits. To solve this mystery, we've got to look at earth science. You see, the coastlines those ancient merchants knew, the shorelines where they actually docked their ships 4,000 years ago, have been completely redrawn by nature. Let's look at the specific natural forces at play here. Over millennia, sea levels dramatically rise and fall. Rivers constantly deposit vast quantities of sediment, which literally buries old shorelines. Add in landscape-altering earthquakes and severe coastal erosion from massive storms, and the result is just staggering. Once thriving seaside ports could now be located miles inland, buried under tons of dirt, or, conversely, completely submerged underwater. The geography itself has hidden the evidence from us. There's a quote from the research that perfectly captures this dilemma. It says, "It is like solving a giant puzzle whose pieces have been scattered across time." And they hit the nail on the head. Modern researchers aren't just looking for ruined buildings, right? They're looking for ruins that have been displaced, buried, or totally drowned by thousands of years of dynamic planetary shifts. It's a deeply fragmented and astonishingly complex investigation. Moving right along to Section 3, clues of a maritime empire and the surviving breadcrumbs. So, how do we even know these ports existed in the first place? Well, we might be missing the underwater ports, but we do have onshore clues that definitively prove the Indus people were absolute master sailors. The evidence we do have paints a picture of a highly advanced seafaring society. Take the famous site of Lothal, located in present-day Gujarat. Archaeologists found a massive ancient basin here, which is widely interpreted as a highly sophisticated dockyard, complete with nearby warehouses, workshops, and trade facilities. And this brilliantly illustrates how the Indus people possessed advanced knowledge of commerce, engineering, and navigation. Because, if Lothal existed, it certainly wasn't the only one. We also have international written records to back all of this up. In ancient Mesopotamian texts, there are frequent mentions of trade with a distant, wealthy land called Meluha. It was a mysterious, almost mythical term to ancient outsiders, but today, scholars widely identify Meluha as the Indus region. So we actually have foreign civilizations writing down records of this vast maritime trade network. The Indus sailors weren't just local heroes, they were famous on an international scale. Let's actually look at the goods that were crossing the ocean, because it really proves how bustling these economic centers were. They were exporting luxury items like carnelian beads and ivory, which archaeologists have actually found in distant Mesopotamian cities. They shipped timber and shell products, which we know because Indus trade seals have been discovered in those foreign markets. I mean, imagine a Bronze Age Amazon delivery network, but with timber and shells instead of cardboard boxes. And in return, precious stones and artifacts from those distant lands have been uncovered right inside Indus cities. This wasn't just local bartering, this was a thriving global economy. You know what really blows my mind? It's contrasting the journey itself with the result. On one hand, you have incredibly dangerous ancient journeys. These sailors had no modern instruments, no GPS, and had to navigate unpredictable weather and deadly waters in essentially wooden boats. Yet, on the other hand, they built masterful trade networks. They successfully maintained stable international economic hubs that connected entire civilizations. The sheer skill required to achieve that is just breathtaking. Let's jump into Section 4, the underwater archaeological search, or as I like to call it, hunting in the abyss. If these incredible cities aren't on the modern coast, we have to look deeper. This is where modern technological solutions step in to solve the geographical problem we established earlier. Basically, if the sea swallowed these cities, we need to go into the sea to find them. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the profound poetic irony it highlights. The ocean that once connected civilizations may also hold the key to understanding them. The very waters that enabled the Indus Empire to grow so vast and wealthy, their great superhighway, might now be the exact thing preserving its ruins in the deep. To unlock those secrets, researchers are deploying a serious high-tech arsenal. We're talking about high-accuracy sonar to rapidly map the seabed and remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, to physically explore the depths. They're even using artificial intelligence to analyze vast amounts of sonar data right alongside satellite imagery from space to trace exactly where ancient dried-up river channels used to meet the sea. It's literally cutting-edge science looking for ancient history. So here's the step-by-step process of how this offshore investigation actually works. First, they map massive sections of the seabed with sonar. Second, they feed that offshore data into AI for analysis to spot anomalies. Pretty straightforward so far, right? Well, the third step is the hardest. They have to painstakingly distinguish a human-made structure from a natural geological rock formation. And let me tell you, finding definitive proof of a submerged urban center is incredibly challenging when nature has had 4,000 years to completely disguise it. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter to us right now? Well, because this isn't just ancient history. Coastal communities remain highly vulnerable to environmental change and rising sea levels today. Just like the ancient Indus ports, our modern coastal cities face the exact same natural forces. Understanding how these ancient civilizations adapted to, or, were ultimately swallowed by changing environments, offers a profound lesson for our own modern world. With every new sonar scan and every deep-sea dive, we're getting closer to mapping this lost world of the Indus mariners. The mystery of these coastal cities truly remains one of the most fascinating unanswered questions in all of archaeology. So I'll leave you with this. What else is waiting for us out there, silent and undiscovered beneath the waters of the Arabian Sea?